going on, everybody? It's Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com. We were just a day away from Bellator 170. I got a special guest with us today. The only person I could really think on to talk with me about TITO ORTIZ and Sonnen tomorrow is, of course, Steven Reichel from Cage-Side Submissions. What's going on, Steve?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. Just watched that inauguration with our new president now. Our first podcast with a 45th president. Did you catch that?
Dude, I was trying to stay up, nodded out, right as it was starting. So it is what it is.
It was a really weird vibe. Like usually, it's like a happy, upbeat vibe at inauguration. It was kind of like a downset kind of vibe. It was like a little rainy, but nonetheless, we have a new president, whether people want to accept it or not. And not to mention tomorrow, Bellator 170, TITO ORTIZ going in there to fight Chael Sonnen. And you've been watching him for a long time. I've been watching him for a long time. And we were talking about this the other night, that when 9/11 happened, he came out, TITO ORTIZ coming out with the American flag. For our viewers out there, you want to run them through, some of your favorite parts of TITO ORTIZ's career?
I mean, dude, there's so much to talk about with that guy's career. He's just been a part of, a lot of, significant moments. I mean, he was with the UFC from UFC 13 all the way up until, I believe it was 48 was his last one against Forrest.
Yep.
So I mean, he was with him for a while. He had some interesting matchups throughout his career. You can go to the Frank Shamrock fight, where the whole feud with him and Ken start. With him and Ken starts. He was one of the first people to knock out Wanderlei Silva. They were trying to bring him over from Pride, and he kind of quickly put an end to that talk. And he has had fights with Evan Tanner, Vladimir Mishchenko.
That was recent too.
Huh?
The Shmalenko fight, that was pretty recent. That was the fight,
no, Vladimir Mushenko.
Oh,
not Storm Shlemenko.
Better not mix
these Russian names are so close. I know, bro. But then we go. I think it was right around 2002 was right around the time when MMA really started to butt out. He was probably one of the stars there. We were talking about 9/11. He fought September 28th, so it was like 2 weeks later. Then I think he fought Ken, and then right around that time, within the next year, it was when he was the light heavyweight champion, and they were trying to match him up with Chuck, and he didn't want to do it. He was trying to get more money.
He took a couple years away, right? Wasn't he gone?
No, it wasn't that long. It was because looking at his career, I think the Shamrock fight was November of 2002. He didn't fight again till September of 2003. So it was almost a full calendar year. They were trying to negotiate that whole thing. Didn't work out that way, and UFC kind of held their ground, and he doesn't wind up fighting Randy. I think they interim his belt when Chuck and Randy fought for it. Randy won. Then they set him up with Randy, I believe. I think it was 44, UFC 44, when the infamous one where Randy has Tito upside down and he's like smacking his butt and stuff like that.
Ass, yeah.
So I mean, he's been in part of a lot of significant early moments, and obviously the Chuck Liddell fights was a big part of it. Had win over Vitor. His first fight with Forrest was amazing. I felt that Forrest should have won that decision. another fight, back-to-back fight with Ken, another fight with Chuck. And then,
Well,
we start getting into, the Rashad Evans draw, the Lyoto Machida fight that he almost wins at the
yeah,
end of that fight.
lost that one. Yeah, once
Yeah,
he
but
got
you
to
got
that fight, he like his that was like the 10 fights
that
ago.
was when like the rest of the world had started to catch up with him. He didn't he wasn't the elite athlete. He wasn't the big star in the UFC anymore because there was clearly other people around that was that had made it rough. You have and then someone else had mentioned the Ryan Bader fight.
Hmm.
He was I think at that point in time when he went into that fight, he was like 4-1, like 4 losses and a draw. If he didn't win that fight, it was over. They were going to let him go. So he winds up getting the guillotine, and then loses 3 more. He did the UFC a huge favor for 133. John Jones pulls out of the fight with a torn ligament in his thumb. He has to step in the face for Rashad Evans. He almost got him in that first round with the guillotine, but Rashad finds a way out of it. Then he gets stopped by Nogueira. Then the rematch with Forrest that everyone was waiting to see. The Forrest wins the decision that he probably should have lost. And then I think it was like 6 months or so, and then he made his trek to Bellator, the Alexander Shlemenko fight that you were talking about, the Stephan Bonner win, and everyone doesn't even give him any credit for the Liam McGeary fight that
Dude.
for the first 3.5, 4 minutes of that fight
Hmm.
that
He lost on
you know
top.
he was on top of the fight. He was
Yeah.
he was dominating Liam and literally made one mistake, and Liam got him in that inverted triangle, and that was the end of it. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, Steve, let's rewind a little bit for some of our newer fans out there. There was a time when Dana White was actually getting ready to fight Tito
Yeah,
Ortiz.
I was waiting for you to bring that up. Yeah, for people that don't know, one of Tito's contract stipulations, he had it in there that him and Dana were gonna have to have a fight. And somehow they got that into the language of the contract, and it was getting ready for it to be said and done. And Dana was actually having to take time out from doing what he was doing to to go and train and start getting ready for this fight.
They even didn't they have like a
And then
press
whenever,
conference and
oh
everything?
yeah, then everything, they had this whole thing. You've seen pictures with Tito wearing the t-shirt.
Dana is
Dana
my
White.
bitch.
Yeah, exactly. But when everything came around to kind of settle it, Dana was there and Tito didn't show up. So you can take that for whatever it's worth.
And even rewind back a little further, like we were just talking about, the Ken Shamrock trilogy
Yeah.
that happened. That started a long time ago, and then they did that season of Ultimate Fighter season 3. And we saw a different side of Tito. Usually, we're used to Tito being like the bad boy before that point, and this time in that season, he was really good with his team as a coach and brought like a
Well, that's
different.
because he's not a bad coach. He knows how to run a practice. He knows how to run a team. But
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think when everything's said and done that I don't think when he fights Chael that that's the last we're going to see of Tito. Hopefully, he stays out of the management side of things. But as somebody who can coach you on the mat and kind of put you in the right direction, get you doing the right things.
Well,
Ain't
Steve,
nothing wrong with that. Because I
before you
mean, go ahead.
before you leave us today, I definitely want to break in. We got halfway through the Tito thing. Let's get into a little chill talk and some of his history here behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I've openly said I'm not Shale's biggest cheerleader, and his cheerleaders really irritate me sometimes because the fact that they're sitting there saying that Shale's gonna blow through blow through Tito Ortiz this weekend is out of their freaking skull.
Tito's fought the who's who, man, and I don't know if you
But
saw the.
here's the thing: go look at Chael's resume when it comes to fighting 205ers. Not middleweight. Middleweight's where he's supposed to be. When he fights 205ers, the only one that I can remember, name worth mentioning of note, is the submission victory that Chael had over Mauricio Shogun Rua. I think you would have to go back like 14 years. And I think the one would have been the controversial Babalu loss, which they rematched and he lost. But either way, we're talking about Babalu. Babalu was a submission specialist, man. Come on. It's just one of those things. So
Chael's mostly known for the John Bones Jones fight and his fight against Anderson Silva, and
but the fight with Bones, it wasn't even the fight. It was just talk.
Exactly.
It wasn't the fight. Like I don't get me wrong, he is a great personality in our sports, but he's a D1 wrestler. He wasn't an Olympian or anything like that. I think he's only like a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So like he has submission skills and stuff like that, but it's not even good boxing. I mean, the things he's most known for is his mouth, his failed steroids test, and his legal run-ins with the law where he winds up snitching on his peoples. But gangsters don't snitch, right?
Well, you know what? This is.
But I mean, look at it.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in there. A lot of people underestimate where Tito is at this point in his career. Like I said, his last 10 fights, I think he's like 3 out of the last 10 fights. But honestly, if we go back further in his career, he's fought the who's who. Even though all the fights that he's lost were against like former champions and hard ass dudes. And Chael Sonnen's fought a bunch of great guys, but not to the level that Tito Ortiz has fought. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go run down his Chael's list. Win over Jason Mayhem Miller. Lost to Trevor Prangley. The Babalu.
Yeah.
Lost to Forrest Griffin. Win over Jason Lambert. Lost to Jeremy Horn. Lost to Terry Martin. Lost to Babalu. Win over Trevor Prangley. Lost to Jeremy Horn again. Why you keep fighting Jeremy Horn, dude? You know you ain't gonna get that. That's submission king right there. Win over Tim Crater. Lost to Polifio. Win over Polifio. Lost to Damian Maya. Dan Miller win. Ushin Okami win. Nate Marquardt win. And then we get into his run here in the UFC. Lost to Anderson Silva. Win over Brian Stain. Win over Michael Bisping. Lost to Anderson, lost to Jones, win over Rua, lost to Evans.
And it's not like
here's the other thing about this fight. He hasn't fought in 3 years.
He hasn't
Come
fought in a
on,
while.
man. That's the other thing about this. Like, and people are also forgetting that Tito's been working with Jason Perillo over there at Alliance MMA.
With Bisping, with Amanda Nunes, right? Doesn't Amanda work?
Yeah.
With him? Yeah.
No, Amanda's at ATT. You're thinking of because that's where Chris Cyborg is too, obviously.
Okay, yeah, Chris Cyborg. Yeah.
But I mean, like I'm not downplaying Chael's career, but you just look at it. Look at what happens when people take long periods of time away from the cage. If you're not really, you could say it's ring rust or whatever. Sometimes it takes you a good 10, 15 minutes to kind of get your timing and get everything in there. I mean, if you really think about it, this isn't the fight that means the most to Chael. I know that he's got a lot of emotional things going on this weekend with, making his dad the promise and all this, that, and the third, but this isn't this. I've already said that this isn't the fight. This is a money grab to set up the other fight.
And
the fight with Wanderlei.
Exactly.
That's what they're setting up.
After this
You know,
fight, he has a lot of people that he could be fighting between, Rory McDonald, who we haven't really heard much from. I think his nose is still bothering him. Then you got Vanderlei, Fedor making his big return against Matt Mitrione. I mean, Bellator had a great year, and I love the way that they're starting off 2017 with Tito Ortiz and Chael Sonnen. And like you just said, it's not like we're trying to downplay Chael at all. We know he's an exciting fighter, a huge name for Bellator to sign. We weren't expecting him to return anytime soon. This was like a huge surprise, and I think Bellator nailed it with this matchup. But my question, Steve, is we just saw BJ Penn going there. He definitely had some ring rust. Do you think we're going to see the same thing with Chael tomorrow night?
I mean, he's historically bad against light heavyweights. Like I said, the only name worth mentioning that he wins is Hua. And we can all say that I think the wars that Hua had early on in his career has definitely taken a toll on him. The loss to Sonnen, the loss to OSP, hasn't really looked super sharp in there. So I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but when you go up to elite 205ers, Rashad Evans, smashed him out inside a round. John Jones smashed him out inside of a round. Let's not forget what happened with the Anderson Silva fight. I mean, the only one you could say, wins over Bisping, wins over Stan, and the Bisping fight. I think that was the fight that really kind of turned Michael around too. Let's be honest.
Well,
So
did you catch the presser yesterday and what Tito had to say?
I didn't catch it, but yeah, I seen what was said, and Chael got his win at the press conference. There's his win that he's gonna have for this weekend. So.
Well, I'm excited for it. How do you think this fight's going to play out? Last question to you, Steve. Do you think it's going to end early? Do you think it's going to go to decision? How do you see this?
I think Chael's gonna try to get this fight out of here early, and he's gonna make a mistake, and Tito Ortiz is gonna absolutely pounce on him on it. I know people are calling for Chael to hit him with a submission or something like that. It's not gonna happen. It's really really hard to submit him, but to say he couldn't do it, no. I mean, he could do it. Either one of them. A lot of people are asking me, "Do you see this fight ending in the first?" I don't, but I don't see it going to the judges' scorecards either. I still think Tito will be victorious, regardless if it's via stoppage or decision. It's just, I think it's a good way to kind of send the guy off on a high note.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Pure Evil MMA, Steve. It was an honor to dub Tito Ortiz on his last fight with you here. And we have a new president. My first little broadcast as a new president. Really quick, this Saturday, what is going on? Are we still on for our big interview or what?
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday afternoon, 2:00. We're going to be talking to Jermaine Duramity, UFC inaugural featherweight title challenger. She's going to be taking on Holly Holm. February 11th, in Brooklyn. It's gonna be interesting, man. I know a lot of people are counting her out. There's gonna be a lot of aspects I'm gonna bring up. Even when I was talking to Julia Budd about it last night, she's actually calling up for a stoppage win for Jermaine, and thinks she's gonna have a nice little run there as a champion, at least until we see the reemergence of Chris Cyborg. So if they want to putting in there if they want to be even giving her somebody like Megan Anderson, even she said that thinks it's still a victory for Jermaine. So interesting to see how it all plays out. I think a lot of people are underestimating her. And I think a lot of people are underestimating the fight in general. Everyone's complaining about it because we're not seeing Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg's in limbo right now. Okay,
Yeah.
until she gets cleared by the USDA, it's a non-issue. But when you have a world-class world champion Muay Thai fighter and a world-class world champion boxer having an MMA fight for a world title, as a fan, how can you ask for anything more? Let's be honest.
Yeah, right?
I mean, come on. Let's forget about what they've been doing recently. Even though Jermaine was very impressive in her backyard and got the stoppage victory there, and she's been one of the very few fighters that are on the UFC roster that put their hand up, say, give me Chris Cyborg, I'll take that fight.
Really?
So, she's one of the few people who said it before they signed the fight in Rotterdam. She already said that, I think it was right around that time is when they announced, they were going to give it to Leslie Smith. It was one of the fights that she was kind of calling for. So we got to see how it all plays out. But, really looking forward to talking to her. Really looking forward to the fight.
And then Amanda Nunes, of course, calling out the winner of the fight as well. We have a lot to
Oh,
talk
God,
about.
don't even get me started with that. Freaking the McGregor effect is driving me nuts right now.
So if you guys want to check that out, it's going to be going down Saturday. What time, Steve?
2 p.m. Obviously, the chat room will be open. Anyone has any questions, always can feel free to call in and let us know your thoughts on any of the topics that we're talking about, and any questions for our guest.
All right. Well, I know you got to go head out to the gym right now to go.
Well, no, Jim. Just gotta pick up the little one. I gotta wait a few hours until I take the other one to the gym.
Well, I know you got a busy day, and I'll be talking to you
Always.
tomorrow, Steve. I can't wait for our interview with Jermaine. Thanks for coming on Pure Evil MMA and talking about.
Don't fall
TITO
asleep
Ortiz.
This time, buddy.
I won't. I got to figure all that out. All right, Steve.
All right, bro. I'll catch you later.
All right, guys, that was Steve Reichel from Cage Side Submissions. You guys all know who he is if you follow MMA. Out of Philadelphia, covering a lot of the up-and-coming fighters, a lot of Invicta, UFC fighters. But if you guys listen to podcasts, definitely go check out Cage Side Submissions. And like we just said, tomorrow we will be talking with Jermaine Durandamy, who's going to be fighting Holly Holm coming up. And also, Valentina Shevchenko versus Juliana Pena is coming up next weekend. We're going to be talking about that as well this week on Pure Evil MMA. Catch up with Pure Evil MMA episode number 34. We just talked with Jimmy Rivera. This is something I want to run by with you guys really quick before we end today's broadcast. We spoke with Jimmy Rivera. You guys remember him from his last fight beating Uriah Faber. And then up in the air, Brian Caraway was supposed to fight him. Caraway saying that he got a shoulder injury. He drops out of the fight. Now Jimmy's left in limbo like, yo, what the hell? I'm ready to fight. I'm the number 4th ranked bantamweight. So he came on Pure Evil MMA, calls out the ex-champ, Dominic Cruz. Says he wants to retire Dominic Cruz next. Even told us that he sparred or kickboxed or whatever with Faber, TJ, and No Love. And he had some pretty crazy words to share with us. I'm not telling you guys not to go check it out, but you should go check it out because it's pretty wild. Pure Evil MMA episode number 34 up on Apple iTunes and Podbean.com. Let me know who you guys think is going to win this fight between Chael Sonnen and TITO Ortiz. I hope Steve was a great guest. I hope that we did TITO Ortiz some justice. We're going to be talking about this later on tomorrow before the fight goes on because there's a couple other fights that we want to discuss. I'll be bringing somebody else on. Shout out to Eddie Mercado from Bloody Elbow who's there right now. I think they're just getting through with the weigh-ins right now over at Bellator, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in to Pure Evil MMA. I'm Evil from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com. Have a great night, guys, and I hope that you enjoyed the fight. Last weekend with BJ Penn versus Yair Rodriguez. Let's get ready for another wild weekend. Also, Titan FC champion Shorty Torres came on Pure Evil MMA to talk about his fight tomorrow night. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass for Titan FC. He's going to be defending his title against Pedro Nobre. Check it out, guys. Have a great day. And let's get ready for fight night tomorrow night. Save yourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jose Shorty Torres, the Titan FC Flyweight Interim Champion.
Hey everyone, it's the champ, Pure Innovation.
Hey, this is Rafian Stat.
It's Bellator's Blair Tugman.
This is Bilal Muhammad.
Hey guys, this is Ted Check.
This is Ron, Choir Boy Sonnen.
Hey guys, it's Brennan Allen.
This is Joseph Correa, founder of Frontproof Media.
Hey, this is Ed Carbajal.
Daniel Zaldivar from Frontproof Media and Frontproof Media.
Frontproofmedia.com.
You're listening to
Pure Evil.
Pure Evil.
Pure Evil and
Pure Evil.
Pure Evil
MMA.
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 You're listening to Pure Evil MMA.
You're listening to Pure Evil MMA.